webinar series designed to empower students across multiple domains. ElevateX brings together experts from various fields to help you explore diverse career pathways and find truly where you want to grow. So, for today's session, we have someone super special joining us. If you have ever searched anything about UI UX on YouTube, chances are you have already seen his videos. If not, then I bet that you are really missing out on a lot. We have circulated his channel's link on our groups, so you can check that out later. But right now I'll give you a short intro of him. He is the founder of Designwings School, and he has helped over 1,70,000 students learn design online on his YouTube channel. And he has spoken at places like TEDx, Google, and even IITs. So, guys, please welcome the person who basically made learning design way more fun, Mr. Puneet Chawla. I welcome you, sir. Sir, you are not audible. You are visible but not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, awesome. Works. Thanks, Harsh, for such a wonderful introduction. First of all, and thank you for having me today. To give sort of a session to you guys. It's always an honor to kind of work with universities and colleges. So it's wonderful to be here.
Yes, sir. We can start now, sir.
Sure. Okay. Hi guys, thanks for having me. First of all, would love to, before we even begin with today's session, I'm going to share my screen real quick. But before we do that, would love to know where you guys are from. So if you're from Jadavpur University, let me know in the chat. Let's keep the chat active a little bit, just so that we're awake throughout the session. Nish's from New Delhi. Who else? Who else? I personally am a Delhi guy myself, so awesome to share. Great to see. Um, Government Engineering College, nice. Jadavpur University, awesome. So a bunch of people from maybe I shared the link as well, like here and there. So a bunch of people from there as well. Awesome, great. Chalo, okay. So today I want to start the session. Before we even begin the session, I'm sure you guys can see a little emoji button right here at the bottom of your screen, and if you click that emoji, you get an option to either give a thumbs up like this, like I did. Yeah, anything works, right? Yeah. Now, now remember this. Remember these emojis while we are, going forward. Remember this, okay? Now, let me quickly share my screen. And today's topic uh, is very interesting because it's very close to my heart. This is something that I specialized in my career. So this is something that you guys will also, maybe it'll be the first time you guys hear about this, but it's going to be fun. Okay. All right. So visual design is something that I have experience with. I've been doing this for more than 10 years now. And visual design is more than just what meets the eye. Even though the name says visual, but at the end of the day, visual design is something um, that can truly manipulate a user's actions on the screen in an app, in a website, in a product. Uh, everyday everyday actions can change for us just based on visual design. Okay, so visuals are important. And before I even look into this, before we even talk about visual design, um, how many of you have used apps like Swiggy or Zomato ever in your life? I think maybe just give me an emoji real quick. You don't have to really say anything in the chat. Awesome. I think most of you guys have used apps like Swiggy, Zomato. How does an app like Swiggy and Zomato stand out? Is it a black and white application? Is it a simple website? Absolutely not. That's not something that we can describe it by. It is something, it's a term that we use often, is called uh, visually intensive, which means that an app which utilizes visuals to not only look good, but also function well. Now, there are a bunch of things that visual design can, uh, you know, take over. So, the number one thing is, if you can see the pointers on screen, number one is users are judgmental. So many studies have been done, just like you guys. When you look at the screen, for example, if I was sitting in a dark room, if the light was completely off, you could barely see me, it would be a terrible experience. But because the lighting is good, the audio is good, you are able to follow along better as well. Okay. So similarly, on websites, in applications, major studies and research has found that users quickly respond to interfaces anywhere between 50 to 500 milliseconds. That means within half a second maximum, they are able to judge the user experience. Is this user can be perceived within the first half second? And the next 3 seconds are dedicated to whether they want to stay on the app or website or not. That is why visual design is crucial, because if something is visually appealing, we automatically assume that it's going to be useful. We automatically assume that it is going to be helpful to us, especially when websites and apps and products like that are considered. The second one is setting the mood. Okay, imagine, just for a second, imagine. Okay, you go into a restaurant where there's loud music. There's a nice bar there. There are lights flashing. Tell me in the chat, how would you describe the mood of that place? Let's just kind of go back and forth like that. How would you define the mood of a restaurant with loud music, loud lights, um, a lot of movement? How would you describe a restaurant like that? I want to see what you guys kind of write up in the chat real quick. Let me know. I'm sure you guys have been to like a restaurant before. Energetic. Um, Ashishman says energetic. Yes, that's a very good. The vibe's good. The energy is good there for sure. So that's one word you can use. You can use many other words like vibrant, overwhelming. Okay. Again, these are personal opinions. There are no wrong or right answers. Uh, Chaotic, messy, anesthetic. Okay. So, for example, I want to go to like I want to party with my friends. Do I want a serene, silent environment? Absolutely not. I need a more chaotic, more, everyone's dancing, moving around, eating, drinking. There's good music. Some of you guys consider that enjoyable, vibrant, energetic, and some of you guys consider it chaotic, overwhelming, things like that. So at the end of the day, every user has their own preferences. So setting the mood for an application or for a product is very important. Swiggy and Zomato, like you guys said you use it, Swiggy and Zomato have a very friendly, open vibe. They don't seem chaotic. They don't seem as if they're forcing anything onto you. They're very welcoming in nature. Whereas if you've ever used a bank app like HDFC or Kotak or whatever bank apps, like Paytm, let's just say, it doesn't have that, oftentimes it doesn't have a friendly vibe. It has more of a serious energy going on. Okay, you need to transfer money from A person to B person. Zomato and Swiggy will want to cater to people who are hungry, who want quick access to food. So this is where we start looking at the user's minds and what they are thinking, what they are feeling. This is a huge part of user experience, which is the feel of things. The third thing is looks, effect, responses. Okay. So if, for example, you go to a website and the website is well designed, has everything laid out properly, there are proper usage of colors, fonts, everything is just perfectly done. versus a website which, the fonts aren't loading properly, the colors are off, the website isn't designed well. Which website will you decide to trust more? Let's just take a quick poll. Website which is well designed or website which is less well designed or less focused on design? Which one will you decide to trust more? Let's take a quick well designed first one. Yeah. In today's time, if you download an app and the app's user interface is lacking in the sense that it looks very basic buttons, basic text, you tend not to trust it as much because that means that design has not been focused on. And we are today, in today's time, so used to good looking websites and good looking apps that anything that is less good looking starts feeling less trustworthy. That is why when, for example, I remember a time during the pandemic also, cryptocurrency became a huge thing. Everyone was talking about NFTs and things like that. Okay. One of the major topics back then was how do we make the app or the website feel secure? Because nobody really trusted cryptocurrency. It was very strange. It wasn't like Paytm or Google Pay that everyone knows about it. It was something new. So having good design can literally hinder the trust of the user as well. Not because okay, this is design means trust, because good, well-designed websites have often been linked to trustworthy websites as well. That's our behavior. That's something that has been built over many years. So a lot of what user experience is what we have gotten used to rather than what is right or wrong. Sometimes, let's just say I'm sure you guys have used Google Pay to pay someone through a QR code. Oftentimes you get these coupons, scratch cards, right? Now, scratch cards are generally considered gambling. Okay. Why did you buy so many scratch cards? Oh, that's gambling. You're wasting your money. That is something that has been linked in the real world. So when we look at scratch cards, if we are not winning something, we
నువ్వు
generally,
మరి నువ్వే ఇచ్చి తెంగుతావురా పాయింట్లు తెంగుతా ఎందా పోతే
I think someone is speaking. Can you mute them real quick?
1 second, sir.
Sure. Guys, we'll take questions at the end, so don't worry. I think we'll let you guys kind of ask questions later.
రే ఏందిరా ఇప్పుడు చెప్పురా
Guys, if you can mute yourself, yeah, awesome, works. Okay, so last but not the least, why are visuals important? UX relies on UI. Okay, now UX, like quickly, I'll just define what's the difference in case you don't know yet. Now, UX is different from UI, that UX has a research component to it, where user experience design is all about um, bringing the user's mindset to the table, understanding what is the issues that the users are having, what are the problems that the user is facing, that our product can help fix. Okay, so an app like Uber fixes the problem of transportation or calling a cab. Okay, an app like Make My Trip fixes the problem of users not being able to book flights online, or Zomato fixes the problem of not being able to check out all the restaurants near you, for example. So user experience is all about researching the user, researching what the user wants and what they are looking for in a product like ours, let's just say. User interface is all about bringing all that research, all that data that has been collected, all that understanding into the form of visual interfaces. An interface is basically just like these emojis. You were able to interact with the computer or with your phones in a certain way. And that is what interface is. Essentially, you're being able to interface means communicating. So you're able to communicate with your devices and That is why UI is different from UX. UI designers don't research. We often take the data from the UX designer and then we build something. So essentially what we're doing is uh, they are helping us understand the user and we are helping the user interact with our product. As simple as that. So when it comes to UI design, um, if the UX designer fails, UI design also fails. I'm sure a lot of you guys have, kind of used an app or a website which looks very good, but because it didn't function well, it did not give you exactly what you were looking for, you have quit that application. Okay. I'm sure it has happened to you guys before. I'm sure you guys have preferences. You use Swiggy over Zomato, Uber over Ola. Let's just say, for example, one might seem more useful and the other might seem less useful to you. So that is one major thing, and that is something that you know you can cater to. I think we can pin my screen. Guys, can you see my screen as well?
Yes,
Just
sir,
so
it's paid.
awesome, awesome, works. Okay, so UX relies on the visuals, and the visuals rely on the UX. So it works both ways. So you have to focus on, if a UI designer does their job well, UX designer का जो काम है वो simple हो जाएगा, and they will just have to rely on the UI designer. They don't have to worry if the final product will come out well or not. Yeah. So these are four of the most major aspects of visual design and why it matters in an entire user's experience. Now, if you ask me, there is no difference between UX and UI on a from a user's perspective. If I am a user, do I care what research has been done? No. Do I care what tools the UI designer is using? No. For a user, it is all about the experience, whether it is done through research, design, through Figma, through a particular tool, it doesn't matter. So when the user and the business comes to play, it doesn't matter. So the final result should be a complete experience, regardless of who is doing what job. Yeah. So just so that you guys know, okay, this is the major differences. Now let's bring visual design. Let's do a little test, and you guys now need to focus because I'm going to ask you guys to choose. Okay. So this is a quick game we're going to play. We're going to bring 5, 6 examples of UI designs, and I'll ask you to choose one, A or B. Okay. So put your hands on your keyboard and let's see what we have in store. Okay. So there are two designs here. You guys hopefully can see the screen, A and B. Both have the same content. So the content is same, like the thing written there is the same. Same button, same layout, same UI. Sorry.
Sir, I don't think your screen is on presentation.
Okay. Let me just quickly share my screen. Oh, you guys couldn't see the screen at all till now. That is what I was asking. Uh, See, I had all these screens prepared for you. Okay. That's crazy, man. I'm just blabbering. No issues. I'll give you these screens later on. I'll give you a link to this so that you can access this. And Harsh just maybe put this on YouTube or maybe I don't know. I don't know how you guys will
Yes,
do it.
sir.
But, um, awesome. So okay, so A or B, and you have to be honest with yourselves. There's no wrong answer. It is a personal preference. A or B. Let me know in the chat which one would you choose out of these two. They have the same text written out, which says upgrade to a free Microsoft Fabric trial. Okay, this is a Microsoft UI. Let's just say. Um, okay, everyone is saying B. Everyone is saying B. Nobody's saying A. Okay, perfect. You guys understand now. So why is B? Can you guys also answer why did you choose B? Because then that will help me understand what you guys are thinking. B because of the illustrations. Yeah, of course, definitely. Illustration is the difference is the illustration here. The visual. B is looking more attractive, more visuals. Yes. Okay. All right. So visually appealing. Yes. So oftentimes illustrations or photos are considered to embark a certain emotion in the user. For example, there's a website where there is a very happy looking person. I'm sure you've seen those websites where someone is smiling or someone is laughing or doing something. Now, a smile on a homepage of a website actually increases the trust in the user. And there are various studies which have found this true, that a smiling face up front or a smiling person, a persona or illustration up front can often increase the user's engagement on the website. So if there is a smiling face, your website will have, all the visitors will stick around, and it will also have, this, as you said, visual appeal to it, a positive visual appeal. Okay. I think for some reason my screen just gets deselected by on its own, so I don't know why that is happening. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. A or B? Okay, game is still going on. A or B? Immediately A. Very small thing, it's just a text box. I'm sure you guys have filled out a form before. A or B? I think it's very, very clearly. Okay, did someone say B? No, okay. Yeah. So why did you say A or B? Real quick. See, for some reason, okay, A or B. I think majority of you are saying A. The icon. Okay, no preference here. Doesn't really matter. Okay, fine. Option A has an icon which clarifies better. Yes, that's very crisp. Well done. Very well defined. Um, I think everyone who pointed out there's an icon. Yes, that's the difference. The icon creates an image. Okay, that's very well said. Now, why is icon design important? You know, why is icon design important? The text is fine. It's fine. People understand it. But as Krish pointed out, and Sneha also pointed out, accessibility, that's another word for. So a lot of times, for example, someone comes to this website who does not understand English. Let's just say, for example, and they have to fill out a form. Okay. Now, if there is the phone, immediately you understand this is a phone number that you have to enter. Forget English. Let's just say, for example, you are quickly filling out a form. A user often reads from left to right. So remember this as a quick tip. Left to right. See how my mouse is moving left to right. This is called an F pattern of reading. An F pattern, F for France, F for Fibonacci series. F is crucial because F is the pattern users read in. Users will start reading like this, for example, they'll read left to right. When the paragraph or the sentence or the image or anything ends, they will go down and try and read the next line. And then they will go down and so on and so forth. Okay. So this F pattern is very crucial. That is why things are left aligned often, because they are going from left to right, left to right. If your chat was in the center, you would not be able to properly read it. It would be hodgepodge everywhere. But because it is center left aligned, it goes from left to right, and you are easily being able to read from left to right. So that's very important. This is generally in most cultures, it's left to right. In some cultures, remember this, culture also plays a difference. If you look at Urdu or Arabic, it is written from right to left. So if you say work in Dubai, you're creating an app for locals. Yeah, Middle Eastern countries. If you're working there, oftentimes, or let's just say you are in Pakistan and you're a designer in Pakistan trying to create something for Pakistani locals, or Dubai for Dubai locals. You are having to do right to left. So culture also plays an impact because we are, again, what did I say? We are used to reading left to right. Our books are left to right. So we have formed that habit over time. For people who read Arabic, right to left. Or other languages also, not just Arabic, there are Asian languages also which do right to left. So Again, it is a very cultural thing, and I think that is one of those reasons. But the icon plays an important role because icon is universal, as someone said, accessible, universal, and anyone can understand it and quickly understand it. So, phone number is a long text, icon is easy to recognize, so an icon is better. Now, there are two UIs here, same exact UIs, A or B. B. Most people are saying A. Tushar says A. Would love to know, Tushar, why A? Micro interactions. Words आपको सबको पता है यहाँ पे. Very nice. Animation in the case of B. Yeah. Okay. So animation, again, visually both are appealing. The tick mark is visual. It is visually appealing in both, but one is animated, and that takes it to the next level. I'll tell you why. Uh, Supratim says gives a sense of completion. Very well defined. Animation makes it feel live. Yes, very nice. So animations, what they do is they trigger an emotion faster and better as compared to a static image or a static icon in this case. Um, Videos, for example, let's just say videos. We'll take videos, for example. Um, if a website has static images versus videos playing, the conversion rate on the website with videos will be higher. In fact, 2 to 300% higher is what research says. So if you ever do a Google research or Chat GPT research, you'll find anywhere from 150 to 300 are the numbers that one can define. Okay. So that is very important. I think that plays a huge role in today's time. We are so motion centric. Everyone is so motion centric. That means everyone is so, कि हर चीज वीडियो है, हर चीज move कर रही है on screen. So that is important. There was a time where motion was not possible. Let's just say 20 years ago, when the computer was a new concept. If you're very young, maybe if you're 18, 19, you weren't even born. Um, Most of the millennials will understand, or some Gen Zs will understand, that computers had little to no animations. It was just things happening. There was nothing popping up, nothing moving. It was all static, just happening one after the other. Only with hardware advancements, hardware movement in the future, in the present right now, did motion become common. And I'll tell you a quick tidbit. Motion design was popularized hugely in the modern era by Airbnb, and I'll tell you why. Airbnb introduced something called Lottie. Lottie was a standard that they created, a file format, if you may, where they could convert a JSON code file into visual animations like this. And their product, Airbnb, or their website and everything, could interpret those JSON files as animations. This animation that is on screen is a Lottie animation. This is picked from a website called Lottie Files. And Lottie animations, unlike GIFs or videos, are super lightweight. They're like a couple of kilobytes. Even if you compress it, you can bring it down to bytes. So these, without adding any load to the website or load to the app, can quickly just play out. Okay, videos take time. I'm sure you guys have been to a website where videos, there's a video that's buffering or loading or it's slowly loading into place. These happen instantly because they're basically code instructing the website to play this animation. And it's called a JSON file, .json file. And if you're a programmer, you will understand what JSON is. But if you're not, you don't have to understand it. Lottie is what we call it as designers. Yeah, Windows XP, Windows 90, 95, Windows 97. These were where there were no animations back in the day. No to little animations. Okay, next one. I think this is the last one. A or B. I think this is going to be subjective, but let's see. This is a little more confusing. Some are saying A, some are saying B. Okay, okay. But majority is A. That is good. That's good to see. Okay. A because of visual hierarchy. Yes, that is a better visual hierarchy. But I would say more towards something that I'm going to explain right now. It's more towards the typography. Okay. Hear me out. Now, typography plays a huge, huge role in how we perceive a product. For example, how many of you have been a on a high fashion or on like a expensive fashion website? Maybe something like Ralph Lauren or like even something like Gucci or Prada. Have you been to a more expensive fashion website? If you have, if you try it out any day, you will find that the typography used is more professional in nature. Whereas if I go to say firstcry.com, now firstcry is for kids and their parents. It's kid friendly. They're trying to make appeal to children or parents with children. So they will have more, the typography will be more friendly, more, bubbly. Like that's a word if you can use that. There are websites which have rounded fonts being used. Rounded fonts are where the edges are rounded. Here they're more or less straight. These are serif fonts. One is mono font and right pe hai mono font. On the left is serif fonts. So those are more rounded fonts, and rounded sans serif fonts are generally used for playful websites. I'm sure you've seen websites with rounded, like bubble-like typography. Here on the left, I have used a serif font, which is a little more professional looking, but targeted for fashion websites. On the right is a monotype font. I'm sure if you've gone to GitHub ever, or if you've gone to a software development website or a software developer focused platform, you will see these monotype. It's what when you type out in command prompt, you'll get that is the monotype font. So monotype font does not work very well on fashion websites or style websites. It's more for tech and software websites. Whereas serif fonts on the left are more for fashion websites. They look professional in nature. They look fashionable. They look stylish, not kiddish, childish, or software oriented, let's just say. So even type, or in other words, typography, plays a huge role in how we perceive a website. Okay, so that is there. There was a meme a while back, if you guys have seen, where uh, someone has written "I love you" in blood font, where this font is dripping blood and looks like a horror font, versus a bubbly font where someone says "I love you." So "I love you" in the blood horror font is it feels like someone is stalking someone. It's like a ghost writing something on the wall. Whereas a bubbly, friendly font is used to say, "Oh, I love you," like a husband says to a wife or a boyfriend to a girlfriend or something like that. That the style of the font or the typography changes everything for the users. So yeah, I think these were some aspects of visual design today that you saw: illustrations, iconography, typography, colors. All these aspects play a huge role in visual design. And it was better that I showed you and tested your own understanding than just by writing it on a page. So yeah, that was a little game that we played today, which is really, really fun. Now let's discuss user experience in terms of user interface. Let's quickly do that. Now, this is a screenshot of Instagram, and if you guys are young enough to use Instagram, which we all are, we have scrolled through reels and shorts for hours. It's called doom scrolling. And why is doom scrolling become a new thing? Because Instagram wants it to be. Say Meta will make more money if you scroll for longer and you watch more ads. Okay. Keeping you on their platform is one of the biggest business goals that Meta has. The longer you are, the more data they have of you, which they can sell to advertisers, and then they can show you more and better ads. If you watch one or two reels a day, that's not good for their business. So what they have done is created an addictive user experience, which of course we all in some way are addicted to some part of our phones or websites that we visit every day. And this, visual design plays a huge, massive role here. So here, even before I explain this, what do you guys see is happening on screen here? I've shown a little graphic here to identify what is happening. Uh, Let me know in the chat what is happening on screen here. What is happening to the reel here? Scrolling to the next reel, Harsh says, yes. Scrolling to the next reel, perfect. We are scrolling to the next reel, and the next reel is already loaded up and it is already ready to be displayed on screen. Did we have to navigate somewhere? No, we just had to swipe. One gesture can develop an addiction that can literally send people spiraling into this sense of addiction, this wanting dopamine all the time, and people nowadays they focus on their real life less and more on the screens just because of these one simple gesture can change a person's life. So this is what we call as addictive UX. But what makes an app or a website addictive? We'll explore some apps, we'll do some exploring today together, and we'll see how it works. But before we do that, let's quickly take a look at four major areas of an addictive user experience. Okay. The first one is auto by default. And automatic is something that we have become used to these days. Everything happens automatically today. If you have to order a cab online, you go to Uber or Ola or Rapido or whatever, and you'll quickly just say where you have to go, and there'll be a cab at your doorstep in 10 minutes. Okay. Did you have to take five different steps? No. One step of adding the address where you have to go, and that is all. Uber, long back when Uber became a big phenomenon in the world, where just right after taxis, we were all used to black and yellow taxis or autos and stuff like that. And we used to call it on our phones where we had a number, or we used to, I remember as a kid, like if we had to take a cab to the airport or something, we had to call a cab service. And then they used to come, you had to call, you had to tell them all the information, you had to coordinate with them. But no, now it is as simple as adding your address and clicking go. That's it. If it's a good driver, it'll just pop up in front of your doorstep, no questions asked, and it'll take you to your destination. So ideal case, everything is happening automatically. Similarly, with what I showed you here on Reels and Shorts and all these platforms, on TikTok also, if you in a lot of cases, sometimes the reel will autoplay. So on a lot of users experience, the next reel or the next short, or even say if you're watching a show on Netflix, the next episode autoplays after 5 to 10 seconds. Or on YouTube, the next video plays after 5 seconds or 10 seconds. You don't have to click anything based on your preferences, your personal preferences. It just happens. So in that case, what is happening is the cognitive load, the thinking of the user has reduced. So earlier we had to think, oh, I have to call the cab company 2 days in advance. Oh, I have to tell them the address. I have to confirm one night before. Oh, I have to call them, are they coming or not? So all that thinking has now gone. All that action that we needed to do before we could get something done has all gone. And that is what most good apps want to reduce: friction. The more difficult it is to do something, the less chances there are that you will complete it. As simple as that. If you are given two choices, let's just say if you're given two choices, one website has there are two websites, same thing, same product, same everything. One website asks you to fill out to register, it asks you to fill out 5 form fields: name, email, phone number, um, let's just say Aadhaar number or whatever. Like you're filling this form. And the other website has an autofill feature where it just fills in your information based on your Google account or your phone number. Which one will you pick? Number one or number two? Which one will you complete the task? Which one will make you complete the task faster? Let me know. First or second? Auto, yeah. Second, where everything just happens automatically, where you just have to press one button, give it permission, and it just auto fills your form for you. Okay. That is where automatic interactions, where things are just happening for you, make it more addictive. Now, of course, this is more functional, but when it comes to Reels and Instagram and all this, it just happens automatically. So we don't have to press anything. We just have to lie back and watch the Reels, watch the videos, watch the season. Okay. So that is something that is called auto by default. And that is something that a lot of companies are even scrutinized for. And I'll share a very big thing which is happening recently later on. The second one is award based visuals. How many of you have gone to recently ordered something of Swiggy or Zomato, maybe in the last 5 days? How many of you have ordered food in the last 5 days on these apps? Chances are, if you're a college student, you might not order as frequently because maybe you have it in college if you're a hostel student. But apart from that, if you're living at home or anywhere, chances are you're ordering every 3, 4 days. Now, when you order something, at the end, what pops up? Either it's a coupon or it's get 25 off your next order, or some offer that pops up on screen, some coupon that pops up on screen, some cashback they are trying to present to you pops up on screen. Now that is award based visuals. If you go into, let's just say, let me show you my screen here. If I go and look at a casino, let me just quickly share this with you. I'm gonna share this screen now, and yeah, a casino. What is it known for? Bright visuals. Let me just open this image up in a new tab, and yeah, okay. Bright visuals, popping elements, illustrations, these cards which might say you can win $100. What is the prize? Things like that. If I go back, um, a roulette table. A roulette table will have, it will spin and it will create anticipation. Look at this. Full of, okay, this is the open website. Um, Full of bright popping colors, buttons, visuals, money. Uh, Names are also very interesting here. This entire environment is what companies want to replicate, believe it or not. This is what companies want to show you when you are utilizing their application. Bright visuals, hooray, success, animations happening on screen, something that can drive you to feel like you're being awarded for purchasing. So every time you purchase, they'll give you a coupon. Every time you purchase, they'll give you a scratch card. Every time you do something that is helping that business grow, they will award you with something in return. Yes, Nishya says dopamine. Yes, that's dopamine. That's how dopamine works. That is how dating apps also get to you. When you're on a dating app, why are you right swiping? Whenever you right swipe and if you get a match, that is a huge dopamine rush. Oh, I got a match. This is huge. So you will want to swipe more, and that is why when they charge you, hey, you swiped, you got 1 or 2 matches, now pay us for more matches. So they already got you hooked. Now they're asking you to pay up. So that is how most businesses nowadays work. They have the freemium model where everything is free until they ask you to pay up. Until then, you are already addicted to that experience. The third one is driving attention and action. So there's something in our industry that we like to call a visual nudge. Now, a visual nudge comes in two formats. One could be like if you go to a website and you're filling out a form, sometimes there's a button that, it'll pop up. It'll make an animation, submit form. So that that little animation is saying, hey, you've filled out the form, now quickly press to submit. So that is a visual nudge, quick animation, quick pop up, quick pop. So anything that makes the user helps the user navigate from one point to the other. The other nudge is it's very interesting. The other nudge is manipulative in nature in some ways, but that is making the user want to do something, and that could be at the cost at a certain cost. Like I said, with dating apps, you are addicted to swiping right and getting matches. If you're getting matches, there's a higher chance that you will pay for a subscription to that dating app. That is how they make money. So a nudge will say, hey, you matched with 5 people, match with 10,000 singles near you. And then you'll be like, oh, wow, okay, I can get even more matches. And that's all the nudge they need. So that word is very popular in our industry is nudge. Visual nudge can be as simple as a little animation that plays which says press here or go here. The other can be very manipulative in nature, where they can literally make you feel you are missing out if you do not do something. So, driving attention and action, these are something that we focus on a lot. In fact, there is a test we do, um, which is, it's called so attention driven insights is something that's a word that we use is attention driven insight. Where is the attention being driven of the user on a screen? And we do something called there's heat maps to do that. So if a user is looking at a screen, oftentimes during testing phase, when we're testing a product, we say, okay, this button is really popping out for the user. So the user is looking there a lot or pressing there a lot, and the business will know. How? Whenever you go to a website, you are pressing, right? Maybe you press a button or your mouse is hovering over some area often. All this is being recorded at the back through analytics, through um, visual heat maps, through uh, tracking, cursor tracking. There's so many things that can make the business understand where you are looking or where you are pressing often. And that is how we study users. That is how we do user research. And that is what helps us drive your actions better. Okay. That is how we can make addictive experiences by knowing, understanding your every move before you even make it. Yeah. Eye tracking, yes. Eye tracking is something that is done. Of course, you can't do it visually for everyone. It is done more in a controlled environment where 10 people who you've recruited are sitting and testing out your website. That's different. Eye tracking, there's been a lot of, speculation that Android tracks your, if you're using an Android phone, um, they can see where you're looking and they track your audio and stuff like that. There's speculation around it. It's just speculative in nature, but um, majority of companies will not do that, but they'll still try and find patterns on how you use the device and will try and predict things based on that. Yeah, A/B testing. A/B testing is a very good word to do that. So A/B testing, like we did today, was A/B testing. I asked you which screen looks better or which screen you would press, and you gave me the answers. So that's A/B testing. All right, dark UX patterns. This is where things get very interesting. I'm sure you've seen a pop-up which says, don't miss out on our 10% sale, where maybe you're exiting the app or exiting the website and a pop-up comes up. That is through mouse tracking. They realize, oh, you're exiting the website, and they'll give you a pop-up then saying, oh, take the 10% discount. Or oftentimes what happens is, if you're trying to quit, let's just say you're trying to unsubscribe from Netflix, they'll give you three screens before you can unsubscribe. One is what you are missing out on. Oh, you are missing out on um, 10 shows that you are watching. Let me quickly show you that screen as well. Let me bring up my screen again and let me show you that screen, and how weird that is for a lot of people. Let's see that. Let's break it down. Okay. Unsubscribe flow. All right. Here we go. Let me just bring this up. Yeah, yeah. Here we go. We have screenshots here. Let me quickly share my screen and you'll see. And I want to kind of break it down for you guys and how dark UX patterns can work. Okay. Now we have this screen right here. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen, just so that you can follow along real quick. I mean, when I'm switching here. Okay, cool. So here is how the flow of canceling your subscription on Netflix works. It's not step by step here, but it shows the main screenshots. So let's just say there's your Netflix home screen. All right, you're watching a bunch of stuff. You have a list of screen things that you've watched. You're a user that has maybe used it for like 6 months. Let's just assume. You go to the next screen where you go to settings and you account settings and all that, and you say unsubscribe there. You will first of all be here. Can you see where unsubscribe is? Is unsubscribe written anywhere on screen here? Anywhere. One little button on the left which says cancel membership. One little gray button. Immediately your eyes go to these blue little text here on the right. But the gray button is somewhere on the left, some gray on white or gray on gray is not very readable. It's not popping out in any way. This is a dark pattern as well, where things are being hidden a little bit or camouflaged a little bit so that you don't do that. So they're forcing you not to unsubscribe. When you go here, and in a lot of websites, not just Netflix, maybe on Amazon Prime and others, what they'll do is they'll hide it at the bottom. There'll be an option at the very bottom. You have to scroll and you have to search for where the option is. They are purposefully making it hard, and this terrible UX is making you not cancel the membership. A lot of times, if it is difficult to do, the user will quit. The user will say, "Abhi nahi karta, chalo kal kar lunga." Things like that. If you're in a hurry, there's a high chance you're not going to do it or not going to complete it. Okay. So this kal kar lunga will come because of these dark UX patterns. Now, if we go to the next screen, it won't cancel your membership immediately. It'll take you to another screen which says, do you want to cancel your membership? Are you sure? And then they'll say, okay, restart your membership at any time, this, that. So you'll be like, okay, maybe I'll keep my membership for some time. That's a big thing. Okay. Oh God. Okay. They're not showing the rest of the screens here. But rest assured, after this, there will be a screen which says, you know what, let me just go to my Netflix account and let me show you that way. Let's try and cancel my Netflix subscription. Okay. Uh, let's go to count. I'm assuming that is where it is. This is more modern, by the way. That was an old screenshot. Basic plan, whatever. I don't use Netflix that much, so I just use it on my phone. So I have the basic plan. Okay. Now, manage membership is what I'm assuming will allow me to cancel. Now, is there a cancel subscription button here? They've removed it. They've become very dark now. They have removed the cancel membership, and now it's only manage membership. Okay. Is there a cancel membership here? Absolutely not. View payment history. That's it. Why? Because I purchased it from somewhere else, so now I have to go there. they have purposefully made it very difficult for me to cancel the subscription from here. Even if I had to cancel the subscription from here and there was an option, I would be taken to a screen which says, this is all the shows that you're watching. The home screen where you saw my shows, that is what, let me just take you back. They'll show you all those shows coming up. Oh, this is what is coming up. You forgot to watch this. Oh, these are some recommendations that you can still watch. So they'll try and persuade you out of not unsubscribing, but unsubscribe, that is a dark pattern. Okay. So purposefully making it harder to do something, dark pattern, not appreciated by most people, but it's something that businesses have to do to retain users in the long run. In fact, let me give you a quick tidbit today before we end this session. Recently, European Union, let me share my screen again. I'm sure you guys have heard of the European Union. That is the reason why iPhones have USB-C. Otherwise, they would still be using the Lightning connector. Um, European Union sets standards and laws for a lot of the technology that you see. And because of those standards and laws, since Europe is so big, Europe has so many countries, companies don't want to lose out on Europe. So they have to, in some ways, follow those rules. So recently, what they've done is uh, they've introduced in 2024, late 2024, they introduced something called, uh, they had certain laws in place, but they strictened it to remove dark patterns. अब आपने ये देखा होगा, I'm sure, order within only two, and tell me if you've seen this before, only two left in stock, or buy in next 12 hours to avail discount, or seats filling fast, only 5 seats left. How many of you guys have, yeah, it says fake urgency, yes. Now, fake urgency is something that is very common, very, very common, almost every second website uses. In the European Union, it is now banned. In fact, recently, Google, Meta, and I think Apple also. Apple was fined $8 million. Google was fined around 150 million dollars, and Meta was also fined something like that, 100 million, some close to that number. And they have been fined in Europe for following these dark patterns. So essentially, dark patterns are so terrible that the government of Europe was forced to try and stop them by fining these companies. So soon, user experience designers will have to find other ways to manipulate users. So dark patterns really focus on your emotions. So yeah, that is it for today's session. I think we had a limited time, Harsh. I think Harsh had some questions, so we can always go through that. But
Yes.
yeah,
The
uh,
students can also ask questions.
sure, sure. Yeah, guys, go ahead, ask questions based on today's session or in general as well. We're more than happy to answer. And hopefully you learned something today. Hopefully you learned something about user experience and how things work. Any questions, guys? We're open to questions. You can type it in. I think.
I'll start with my question. Until then, they'll type it.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
Nishcha has sent one question.
Um, Hi, Puneet. I landed my first UX job. If you can guide me how to keep going. Okay, so maybe you may longevity of your career. Is that what something that you're concerned about? I think that is what you mean, Nishcha. Um, yeah, I think your first UX job is often going to be a very learning process. Why? Because yeah, and here the mostly focus on UI. Okay, so there are two major reasons why your first UX job is going to be not the best experience in the world. Number one is you learned something, and what they are asking is something very different. So you might go to YouTube, or maybe you have a course or whatever, and they teach you something, right? They maybe teach you usability analysis. Okay. Now you go to that company and there's no usability analysis. In fact, they're doing something completely very different. So in that case, you are confused. What should I do? Should I follow that? Should I? So in a lot of cases, most companies, if you're just joined, if they're a smaller company, they do not understand UX very well. So you have to help them understand UX um, through a data-driven approach. What I mean by that is, oh, this UX change gained helped gain the company 100 new subscribers. Let's just say you are giving a data-driven insight into your process to your founders, to your managers, to whoever you're reporting to. So that is very important to do in your first design job or in a design job in a smaller organization. Okay, that's a huge thing. I think Nishya has that problem only. Like they're focusing more on UI and maybe less on research and things like that. So Nishya, in most cases, you will have to take responsibility and you have to do it on your own time. If you're doing a UI design project and you want to do a little bit of UX research before you get into it, you have to do it on yourself. And in the meeting, in the final meeting where the UI looks good, everyone is happy, you have to portray how your research impacted your UI design abilities there. So what they'll do is they'll ask you questions about research. They'll be more curious. They'll feel, okay, this is something that can help their business. Some businesses are stubborn, you really can't change them, but I think that's one of the best ways to kind of uh, tilt the scale in your favor, essentially. So yeah, I think Nishchay, keep going. Your first job is not going to be ideal. Chances are when you gain experience, you'll get a job in a much better organization which understands UX better, has a design team. It'll work out for you. Don't worry, everyone goes through that one first job. Any tips on how to improve in Figma? Any resources? Sorry, Lipa has asked that. So I think the best resource to improve in Figma is the Figma's own official Figma Learn website. So just type in Figma Learn on Google, and essentially they'll have tutorials and mini courses on everything Figma. And it'll be very helpful because it's directly from Figma, so they're teaching it the best way possible. The other one is to experiment, try out new things in Figma. My channel is good for that. There is Ansh, there is Saptarshi. All these channels are good to try out, experiment new things in Figma. What I mean by experimentation is using plugins or trying out resources from the community, things like that. So I think those are the best two ways of really getting into Figma. And don't pay for a course. Figma is very easy to learn, and these two things will get you as much as you require. Uh, okay, Debayan asks, sir, I'm working on hobby project on making UX better for the website. I just wanted to ask if it is actually making it better. Um, Okay, so a lot of beginner designers, what they do is they pick up a project, like pick up an existing website or an app, and they redesign it. Uh, and it's rare. Redesigning, we've all done redesigning in our early days. You ask the best experts nowadays, they'll say, "Oh, we used to redesign when we started out." So it's not nothing terrible to redesign, but redesign should come from a problem-focused approach. Um, Most companies don't redesign their app until it is required. I mean, there are some websites which if you go to HDFC's app, it looks as if it was designed 20 years ago. So they haven't changed their website and like, of course, they have updated their designs, but their designs are very basic. Why? Because they're catering to older people, catering to people who don't understand fancy UI, things like that. So if you're working on a hobby project, understand whether the project even needs to be done in the first place, whether there is a requirement for a change and why there is a requirement, and then design after that. So then you will have a good problem statement to work on. So whenever you're doing a UX focused project, make sure it has a good problem statement and it truly means something to you. You truly want to change it. Otherwise, your project will just, it won't come out very well.
Sir, it is like it is like I am making a microservice thing like in
Yeah.
based on AI. I am not redesigning the UX basically. So
Okay.
like what happens like I offered a microservice to the websites like it is just an API plugin. So
Okay.
they just plug in my API and like it is a like if you go into any website like any doctor consultancy website and you have to go through for booking the appointment. You have to uh, go to appointments and all those things. So you have the chatbot like thing where you can just type that I want to book an appointment with a eye consultant around 5 kilometer radius, and it automatically shows the options you can book into it. So
Sure.
I was just asking that if this AI native UX thing, what is like, will like is
Yeah,
it
so
a
I
worth
think
pursuing project?
I think AI driven user experience is is a very good topic to pick up as a UX project because it's becoming it's a modern thing that is happening, and AI based personalization, AI based user experience is a huge topic right now as well. So I think if you're working on a project where whether it's an AI product or your experience is based on artificial intelligence and data and things like that, um, I think it's a very good project to pick up, and it's very valuable because a lot of AI companies, if you apply to in the future for an AI company, they will look at those projects and they'll be impressed because that is in their domain. So I think choosing a domain specific project is very interesting. It's a little risky because you lose out on the chance of working on a vast product. Um, but if you're focused on an industry like AI and you want to get into that industry, then a focused product project like that will work out for you very well.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome, awesome. I think next question is how to make a good UX UI case study. All right, so I think it's not rocket science. It's very simple. Do two things. One, go to LinkedIn profiles of professionals working in good companies. Check out their portfolio. Chances are they have their portfolio linked on their LinkedIn profile. Um, Find two, three good case studies that they've done and try and understand the structure that they've made. Um, because structure matters a lot. Based on that structure, you can curate your projects. The second thing is to use a template. There are a lot of templates on Figma and all those platforms where you can choose different structures and they teach you also what you should be doing at a certain point of time. So pick up sort of a template. Miro has templates. So search for Miro templates on Google and there they'll and in the search bar on their website just type in UX case study. So there they will have a lot of these graphs and everything laid out for you. um, why I encourage people to do that is because oftentimes we learn from example. We might not learn if someone is just telling us A B C D, but if if we watch something, we see something interesting and we learn from that, that'll be better. So pick up templates on UX case studies and then study them on how they are working, what's the structure, what are the components of that, and then go on Google, YouTube, and then start learning each individual aspect of it. And a good case study is where a good, let's just say, a good structure is built, especially when it comes to design thinking. So design thinking structure is something that you have to focus on. So check these things out that I recommended, and you'll be able to create a good project. Don't worry, your first project is not going to be great, but also once you create the project, make sure you ask for feedback. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Thinkific, or you go to platforms like ADP List, ADP List. You'll find a lot of mentors who are giving free mentorship, free advice. Submit it and they'll give you advice on your case studies. So that's another good resource. Um, Divya says, when creating a UX case study, which parts have the biggest impact for recruiters? Okay. Case studies are ideal. How many case? Okay, so I think two major questions you've asked. Um, Practice projects, yes, 100%. Please do that. It helped me with my career. Please do that. Small projects, quick practice projects. Yes, please include it. Even if it is like a small UI that you've made, put it on your behinds. Don't shy away from putting it there. When it comes to complete UX case study, make sure you focus on three aspects. What is the problem you're solving? How did you solve it? So you're showing research and stuff like that. And what is the final product? Okay? And also make sure you include how did you get to know that that UX made an impact? So for that, you'll have to do testing and stuff like that. So two to three things they look at the most. And yes, visuals is important. If your case studies or your portfolio, let's just say, is visually appealing, there's a high chance they're going to check it out. So that is also there. You make a good website on Framer and like portray it there. That will positively affect for sure. And yeah, how many case studies? One or two is fine for a beginner. One big case study and then some small projects, as you said, like small, quick stuff. Uh, can you type in the name? I think ADP list you're asking. ADP list. This is a great platform for free mentorships on UX.
All right.
Dash,
Actually, you were saying Mido also.
um, Miro templates. Yeah, Miro templates.
All right. So
Uh,
I
Thank you.
think
Thank you so much.
we are going short on time. I think I can share Sir's YouTube channel. Most of your doubts would be cleared by watching his videos. They are really great. Even I had some questions, but I think the time is a
yeah,
little short.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think we'll be wrapping up right now. Uh,
Sure.
for that, I would really like to thank you, sir, for this amazing session on UI UX. It was a blast to have you here. Uh, the questions that were here were really great, and your answers were also really great. So, with today's session, ElevateX officially comes to a close. It has been an incredible experience for IEEE JUSB to host such knowledgeable speakers and provide students with valuable learning opportunities throughout the series. So, we are also grateful for your overwhelming participation. But I'd like to say that this isn't the end. IEEE JUSB isn't slowing down. Up next on our roster is Hello IEEE JUSB, Hello IEEE, which is especially crafted for you first year students. You will be hearing about it soon, so stay tuned. With that, I'd like to end this session. I would like to thank Puneet sir again for his amazing insights. Would you like to say something, sir?
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for inviting me once again. And it was wonderful to interact with you guys. It's always good to do these live sessions, because you get to have a little bit of fun and hopefully learn something today. My aim wasn't to give you a lecture, it was more to, just have a little bit of fun while learning something extra. So, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. And as he said very clearly, you check out my YouTube. On my Instagram, I often announce these free classes that I do as well, just like this, free of cost. So go ahead, follow me there as well. Same, just type in my name, you'll probably see. Yeah, and thanks Harsh for hosting this, and hopefully soon we'll get to do something even better.
Yes, I hope we could host you someday offline on our campus.
Sure, man. More than happy to.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Good night.